Hey there, in today's video I'll be building upon a previous video which I made showing you how you can use JavaScript to create a full screen background image in your Articulate Storyline project. In today's video we'll be focusing on using Cloudinary as our image repository and applying some effects without using an image editing tool. We'll then jump into Articulate Storyline and create a transparent player. So let's get started by jumping into Cloudinary. If you're not familiar with Cloudinary, it is a media repository where you can upload your images, videos, and audio files, and then host those on the web and use the links to a range of different applications. So the image I have here is of Milford Sound in New Zealand, and I found this on Unsplash. I've then uploaded it into my Cloudinary account, and it has provided me with this image URL down the bottom. So we'll continue to use this image in this tutorial, and we'll now go ahead and apply some transformations. This image itself is a high definition image, and it does take a couple of seconds to load for the user once they have started viewing the course. So to fix that up, we'll first apply a quality transformation. To do that, we'll click on this drop down here, and we'll change the quality to good quality. Now before we move any further, once you make any adjustment or transformation to your images in Cloudinary, it will refresh the preview for you so that you can see how the image will now look. It will also adjust the URL by including this piece of code in the URL. So we'll continue on, and in this instance we want to increase the opacity of our image and also apply a black background behind the image. To achieve that, we will click on More Options. So now we'll go ahead and change our opacity, and in this instance I'm going to change it to 55. And we'll go ahead and refresh the preview again. Now we can see that the image has an opacity of 55, and we can see that the URL has again updated to include that in the link. Additionally, we now want to change the background, and we'll add in a black color by clicking the background. And you can either use the hex code or just use the color palette here. So we'll drag that down and I'll go choose. And again, we'll refresh our preview. And there we have our new image that we will end up using in our Articulate Storyline project. Again, we can see that the URL has updated to include the background as black, the opacity as 55, and the quality as good. So now that we have our updated URL, I will copy this URL and we'll jump into our Articulate Storyline project. So here in Articulate Storyline, I have opened up the project that we focused on in the last video. I would highly recommend that you jump in and watch that video to learn the basics of using JavaScript to create a full screen image background. So now what we'll go ahead and do is change the JavaScript with our updated image URL. So to do that, we will just double click on our existing execute JavaScript trigger. We'll open up the script and we'll change the image URL with the new one that we just created. Once we've done that, we'll click OK and OK again. Now at the moment, if I was to publish this, the project would look pretty much the same as this example with a darker background image. But this time I want to actually remove the player and make it a truly transparent experience. So we'll jump into Storyline. I will go ahead and change all the font colors to white. And I'll also change the button color to white with black text. From here, we'll just right click the background and drop down to Format Background and increase our transparency from 0 to 100%. We'll now click Close. And now let's publish this course and see how it looks. So now we have our full screen background image with some transformations that we've applied in Cloudinary, as well as our transparent player. Well, I hope you found this tutorial useful. I will be making a tutorial in the next week of how to create a full screen background video, so stay tuned for that video. Be sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment below if you would like to see any future tutorials.